We are just shy of the first year anniversary of the ROG Ally X. This device was at the top of the heap of some of the best PC handhelds ever made. It was the very beginning of getting these massive batteries in these PC handhelds, actually providing us a decent overall gaming experience on the go. Because before this, you'd be lucky to get an hour and a half, 2 hours playing certain games. If you're playing games like Elden Ring or Call of Duty, you'd be lucky to get an hour. And that sudden change and improvement in battery life all started with the Ally X. It came out July 22nd, 2024, and if I play my cards right, this video will come out right before that. And the industry has changed a lot in that time. We've seen the releases of some pretty prominent handhelds, like the Legion Go S, and its most true rival, the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. That is a single device that I feel like competes the best against the Ally X. But in that time, the industry has seen some changes in terms of pricing. The Ally X used to be $800 at MSRP, which when it first launched, you could actually get it at that price. Scalping and supply was a non-issue for this handheld, predominantly because it was so expensive. For what the industry considered the best it could possibly do at the time, kind of made that $800 price point make at least a little bit of sense. Though for me personally, that was a little too rich for my blood. But as the industry has trucked along, the fact that we saw price increases instead of decreases over time is quite disappointing. Some people in my recent video have commented that they've been able to get their hands on Ally X's and MSI Claw devices, things like that, for actually a lot cheaper. But if you're just the average Joe Schmo who walks into a Best Buy and hopes they have open box or something new, your luck has really gone downhill, and the prices on pretty much everything across the board has gone up in relation to the Ally. It has saw a $100 price hike from the previous $800 MSRP to $900. And if you want the 2TB version, you better be ready to cough up an extra $50 at $950. Almost $1,000. Close to, if you take in consideration sales tax, almost $1,000 for a PC handheld. This is rapidly approaching the amount of money you would spend on more of a boutique seller like iNeo and GPD and stuff. And their devices offer significantly more advantages over something like an Ally X at that price point. Whether that's a more unique handheld design like the GPD4 with its PSP sliding display mechanism style, or if it's the iNeo 3's modular controller, or just having a better processor in the case of many devices from 1X player, it's just being slightly better is more value than what you're getting with the Ally. The Ally really profited from being slightly cheaper than the vast majority of most of those boutique PC handheld manufacturers, because compared to its actual competition, things like the Legion Go, the original Ally, the Steam Deck, it compared very favorably. Like I said, it was one of the best performing PC handhelds in its time. The Ally X isn't set alone though. The Steam Deck saw mild price increases, and the Ally X saw considerable sales up until recently, where pretty much those have stopped and it has fully retained its full MSRP pricing. There was a brief window of time where you were able to get an original Ally with a Z1 non-extreme for like $250 at open box, which was super sick and made it one of the best values in gaming. But that window as such time has closed, and now you can have to pay somewhere between like $300 to $500 for a Z1 non-extreme, which is ridiculous. And the value of the Ally X was already razor thin in comparison to so many other handhelds. The performance gains made by having a significant more amount of dedicated memory just for the integrated graphics. On top of that, that memory was also quite a bit faster than a lot of the other manufacturers were using at the time, which greatly increases performance. But yes, in terms of actual numbers, it was quite a bit higher. The margin actually between all the other handhelds wasn't that significant that justified spending significantly more to obtain those gains. Yes, depending on what kind of buyer you were, if you were looking at the $700 Legion Go, or if you were looking at something for more of a boutique builder, the Ally X looked like a pretty decent value. But that was only in the most finite of circumstances, and it really served as a halo product, almost like a 5090 is today, and that remarkably worked in its favor for quite a while. But now that we've reached the year mark, I don't think the Ally X really is something anybody should be buying these days. The Ally X, while still pretty good, and if you bought one a year ago, you're probably more than happy with it, and you're unlikely to ever need an upgrade within the next couple of years. But as it stands, we're on the precipice of some of the most interesting handhelds we're going to be seeing for quite some time. The Legion Go 2, the Xbox Ally X, and the white one. I don't know what they called the white one yet. But honestly, those devices make way more sense for the average consumer to buy because they offer such drastically different experiences. And not to mention the AMD version of the MSI Claw 8. That device is going to be fantastic, and most of these devices are going to be using the Z2 lineup of chips, whether that's the Z2 Extreme or the Z2 Non-Extreme, which should perform much more closely to the Z1 Extreme, if not a little bit better, thanks to having a newer architecture. Though at the moment we don't have any devices confirmed with the Z2 Non-Extreme that isn't modified, because the current handheld we know that's coming with the Z2 Non-Extreme is that white Xbox Ally, but apparently it's a slightly more customized version of that chipset specifically, and it's sort of like a Steam Deck processor successor apparently. So maybe it's just more optimized for lower watt gameplay, much like the Steam Deck is, because there's very few handhelds that operate lower watt profiles like the Steam Deck does. And I'm not arguing like performance per watt. All I'm saying is that the ability to run at 2 whole watts is something that I don't believe you can do on very many other handhelds. If I remember correctly, you can only run as low as like 15 watts on a lot of handhelds. Or 10, I can't remember at the moment. The Ally X was amazing for its time, but unfortunately, I feel like it has sunsetted a little bit. The industry has changed, I feel like, ever since the launch of the Switch 2 and some other PC handhelds. The consumer appetite for these hyper expensive portable PC handhelds isn't quite the same. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, it's felt different, these announcements. They're veering more towards being more console-like than portable computer. Other than that, I would love to hear what you guys think. Did you buy an Ally X when it originally came out? Did you at all consider purchasing one as of recently? I would love to hear what you guys think about this down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the social media coverage down below. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.